Alright, now that all the images have been sized to fit inside the frame, I'm going to change this up a little bit. I don't really need to see any assets right now, but I do want to see what's happening with the image. I can scrub through and go to my very first picture, and if you double click on something like this, it will open up the source and show you what the picture really is. You can also then close that panel if you do that accidentally. The effect controls is how we are going to make these pictures move. You can see that I've got my time indicator here, and it's moving down below as well. Notice I can't go past the beginning or end there. So one way to get to the very beginning is to drag it there. You can also press the home key on your keyboard. As long as this picture is selected on the timeline, it'll go right here. So let's keyframe, position, and scale. If you cannot see those, they're part of the motion group, and these little stopwatches set keyframes. That's those two diamonds that just appeared there, and they're blue. So if I move this, you'll see that these two are no longer blue. That means we're not on the keyframe. Now this is the procedure I want you to follow for all of these. Press the end key to go to the very last frame of this picture, and then you can scale this up. If you're using the slider, it's pretty easy to go too far, and you are not allowed to go past 100. So perhaps it's better to keep that closed, type 100, and that is the maximum amount of zoom that you're allowed. To go any further would be to decrease the quality of the video, and we're going for professional quality here. That's why we work so hard to find these pictures. Now we may not want to look at this at the end. In fact, it's best if all your pictures don't just zoom in on the center. Now notice it's having some trouble keeping up. I want to show you something where you can pre-render, and it'll do all the math for you so that you can see what it's really going to look like. I'm going to go back to the very last part of this picture. I used the keyframe jumper there. Notice now I can jump back and forth, and I'm going to choose a different place for it to zoom in on. Notice I chose motion there, and now I can move this, and I can show the Bay Islands and La Ceiba, where I lived before I moved back to the States. So let's say I wanted to focus on that. Now when I go back to the beginning, I can drag it here and drag through, and you can see what that's going to look like. If I press play, it is doing a pretty good job there. But if I press enter on the keyboard, the main enter, not the one on the number pad, it will actually do the calculations so that it will video clips on the scratch folder. And you can see that the first two went very quickly because they're just the titles. But now there's math to be calculated. It just finished that one. Now it's going to keep going, so I'm going to cancel that and go back and watch this clip. And it's moving nice and smooth. There are no keyframes except at the beginning, at the end, and you need to both zoom and move. Let's do the rest of this category. One way to get there is to click right here with these numbers, press home, and keyframe, position, and scale. I'm pressing the end key on the keyboard. Maximum zoom is 100, and then I can move this picture around and decide like just where I want it. Key is to not move it too far. So now it's going to be concentrating on that island. Look at this picture, select this picture, press home. Oops. I need to click on this. See the blue highlight around it? Now home will take me to the beginning, and click on position and scale stopwatches to create those two diamonds. And on my keyboard, maximum zoom is 100. Maybe we don't want to zoom in that much, at least let's say 20%. So 50 plus 70 will give us a nice bit of animation, and you always want to move it at least a little bit so it's not going just to the center. Let's watch that one. So a slower zoom. We'll do these in the next video.